Are you ready? Alright, so this the angle, that's the opposite, isn't it? That's the hypotenuse is along the side, so the last side is the adjacent. Alright, so first of all, what's the sine of A? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of A is opposite, 5, over hypotenuse, the longest side, 13. So if you're asked what is the sine of A, opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, if you're asked for what's the cos of A, adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos of A, adjacent, this is the adjacent side, 12 over the longest side, 13. If you're asked for what is the tan of A, so the tan of A is opposite over adjacent. Tan of A is opposite, which is 5 over the adjacent 12. Is that example alright? Okay, you don't have to take that down. I'll record this one. Okay, handy enough. I'll get another example now. So on the next page, this is on page 374, this example. So 2/3 square root of 13. So it's the right hand triangle and there's the angle A. Alright, so again, what if I'm asked to get the sine of A? So, do you want to tell me? So it's opposite over hypotenuse, isn't it? So the opposite side is this one. That's 3 over hypotenuse is the longest side. Square root of 13. That's it. Easier than it looks, isn't it? Cos of A, what's the formula again? Over hypotenuse. It's a good idea to learn these off by heart. So the adjacent is this side, 2 over the hypotenuse. And tan of A is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite, 3 over . Yeah? Alright, so in the same question, they have another bit. Find the tan of B. Sine, cos, and tan of B. In the same triangle, same question. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, isn't it? So we're standing at B. There's the opposite now, and that's the hypotenuse. 2 over root 13. The cos is, what's the formula again? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent is 3, the hypotenuse is root 13. And the tan of B is opposite over adjacent, isn't it? Opposite over adjacent. So slightly different answers to sine A, cos A, tan A, isn't it? Do you understand that? Right, we'll go on to another type of question. This one is question 8, page 374. This is the one that an example that I did on the board a minute ago. You have to find the angle. So that's 9 and 40. That's 40. That says 9. And we have to find the angle. Well, they call it B. Whatever. Call it whatever you want. You have to find that angle. Alright? So that's a 9. That's a 40. Right, so we have 3 formulas. We have sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. Right, so if I'm standing here, what two sides do I have? I have that side, which is called the opposite. Well, that's the hypotenuse, so this one is the hypotenuse is always the longest side. So I have the opposite and I have the adjacent. So which formula can I use? Which one has the opposite and the adjacent? Tan, this one here. It has opposite and adjacent. And remember, when I'm finding the angle, so if I'm find angle B, that sign means the angle B. Alright, so I need to use this one. When I'm finding the angle, I use a thing called tan inverse. Same formula, opposite over adjacent. Right, so tan inverse B, I'm finding. So the opposite is 9 there, and the adjacent is 40. So I get my calculator and I go shift, second function, tan, hit the fraction button, 9 over 40. Bracket equals 12.68. 12.68. So B is 12.68 degrees. That angle. Right. One other example like that. 17 and 15. Remember, you can only use these formulas in a right angle triangle. And the angle is C. So to find the angle C. Which formula do you use in this case? First of all, what sides do we have? Well, there's the angle C. So if I'm standing here, that is the opposite. I don't have that. I have the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and then the third side is the adjacent. So I have the hypotenuse and the adjacent. Which formula do you use? Adjacent and hypotenuse. Which formula has the adjacent and the hypotenuse? Second. Cos. So I use this formula. Remember, when I'm finding the angle C, I don't use cos, I use cos minus 1. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Alright, so the adjacent in the triangle, the adjacent is this one here, 15. And the hypotenuse is this one here, 17. Key it in. So, shift, cos, so second function cos, hit the fraction button, 15 over 17. $12.07. Oh, sorry, 28.07 degrees. Do you understand that? Right.